There are only two ways to respond with the gambit. It is whether you accept the gambit or you decline the gambit. So on this video, I will show you an opening trap from the Queen's Gambit and then the repetition to the trap to the Queen's Gambit. So the Queen's Gambit starts after the position of d4, d5, knight f3, knight f6, and then c4. So this c4 pawn is undefended. The black now can capture that c4 pawn if he chooses to accept the gambit or go for another move and respond to decline the gambit and place e6. So black chooses to decline the gambited pawn on c4 and go for a development for his bishop on f8, aiming to castle in the future after the bishop on f8 be developed on the diagonal of a3 to f8. So after e6, white plays bishop to g5, pinning the knight and also putting some pressure to the d5 pawn, forcing the black to capture the gambited pawn on c4. But again, black chooses to decline the gambit with the move knight b to d7. So after knight b to d7, going to decline of the gambit, then white here plays a3, giving some support to his c-pawn with his bishop and also trying to develop it via a2 or d3 square to proceed to a king safety in the future. So after a3, black goes to his idea, which is to castling in the future and plays bishop e7, knight c3, putting some pressure to the d5 pawn, but still there is a fair share with attack and defense, so it is still equal. And after castling and rook to c1, black here respond also the move rook e8, controlling the e-file in the future. So after rook e8, white plays his queen to c2, hoping for a control on the light square diagonals and also controlling the c-file in the future. So after queen c2, a6, stopping some knight b5 hop, and after a6, here comes now the capture on d5, and after a recapture via e takes d5, we shall see that the rook now has a semi-open file on the e-file, and also this queen and rook also have a control on the semi-open file on the c-file. So after e takes d5, white now aims a battery attack on the 7 with his queen and bishop. So after bishop to d3, black plays c6, putting some defense on the d5 pawn. And after castling of white, here comes now the knight to e4, opening the dark square diagonal for his queen and bishop, attacking this bishop to g5 with queen and bishop and knight. So the only defender of that bishop on g5 is the knight. So what to do? White retreat his bishop to f4 to avoid some exchanges. So after bishop to f4, here comes now the trap after a blunder move of black, which is the move f5. So after f5, we were going now into the trap of white from the queen's gambit decline opening. And it all start with the move knight takes d5. So after knight takes d5, black here again fall in the trap and recapture that knight, having a material advantage with 2 pawns for a knight. But after that, white plays bishop to c7, trapping the black's queen and also winning the game in the future. After the move capture and the recapture of queen, white is totally winning. So going back, just a recap to the queen's gambit decline from the so-called trap, which is named as the Rubinstein trap. So after knight f6, declined, defense, develop, castling, control, capture, attack, defense, castling, attack, retreat, and a blunder move of black, because after knight takes d5, c takes d5, bishop c7, wins the queen. Let's flip the board first and see what's going on the black side to the Rubinstein trap. So what to do? After, for example, here 7 castle, rook, queen, a6, capture, bishop, defense, castle, attack, and a simple retreat, and after f5. So we shall see that f5 is a blunder move because it allows knight takes to d5, and after the capture, then we loses our queen on d8. So let's find now a repetition to this trap after knight takes d5. So the repetition to the trap is not to capture the knight with our pawn, because it leads to our queen to be trapped on the d8. So we must not capture that knight and just play the move bishop to d6. But after bishop to d6, still the white hair can win some material after a capture, recapture, knight f4, and knight f6. So we shall see that the white still have a pawn advantage and a pawn up on this position. So going back, bishop d6 still cannot help on this position to equalize the game. So going back on this position, the move f5 is really a blunder move. The recommended move here is just to play our knight to knight d to f6 to give some support on our knight on e4 and also give some breathing space to our queen, and also again protecting this knight and our pawn on d5. So after knight d to f6, we stop now those queen trap on c7. So let's say white capture that knight on e4, and after a recapture, of our pawn, forking the knight and bishop, forcing white to capture our pawn on e4, and after a capture, queen takes e4 and bishop to d6, discovering an attack to the queen and also giving an attack on the bishop f4. And after, let's say, queen d3, bishop takes f4, e takes f4, and then bishop e6. Even though here white is pawn up because black has only 6 pawns versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but his f2 and f4 is a double pawn, so we can exploit that weakness. And also his a2 pawn is now attacked with our bishop. So let's say after bishop e6, white plays bishop b3, and after queen d6, attacking now the f4 pawn and d4.